for gain difficulty? I don't think so. With 8 element anyway, you have to do more than, okay, C and above. It's normal program for senior, and still it's B and A. It's enough for get 3/10 for special requirements value. So one of proposal. And sorry, and this is enough from my side. And it was only one slide before I opened discussion, closed, and now I will open discussion again. So this is my email, and be sure it's an email of the TC, because I immediately share information, any question I receive to my guys. Yes, Paul?
Just a couple of thoughts from me. Immediately the dismount thing, I think it's quite okay to say maybe 0.5 reduction if you have no dismount. You don't have to put any special requirement in at all. It's something to think about. If somebody chooses an A, B, C or D, they will have a difference. And I just have a personal opinion about 8 or 10 elements. My feeling is 10 elements is good because the apparatus specialist, I think, in my opinion, can cope very well with 10 elements. And if you have 8 elements, you bring everybody closer together. It's a very nice spectacle and will make more for a competition. But it will separate the specialists, the really good experts on each piece of apparatus from everybody else. That's why I like 10 elements.
This is absolutely correct. This is absolutely correct, and that was one of reasons not to be so brave to reduce the elements number in a past. Here is another issue: is overuse of body and safety, and somehow apparatus specialists do not use all the skills except one time, for example, as during the World Championships. Even some continental championships, they are not very okay. They are ready all the time, but they are not risk. So it's the only reason is to give other people also the chance to believe to themselves, okay, to have more wider the group of people who can get the final. It's dangerous also because it's execution judges. Their importance is very high, execution now, because as you said, yes, I also see that D value could be a little bit much closer than before. So E judges now is very important, could be. That's why maybe if we're thinking a little bit further with this issue, more focusing for live judging, where is more transparency and honest, it could work. Hardy Ilan was?
No, Hardy first.
Oh!
Age before beauty.
So Hardy thinks. Yeah, well.
So congratulations, first of all. I think that you guys have done a darn good job. And a little tweaking to do yet, but it's darn good. And also, I've judged a couple of times, and sometimes many years ago, which I'm going to talk about 40 years ago. I think this is the best judging I've ever seen. The judges are so well prepared and so excellent now, and nothing like that existed 20, 30, 40 years ago. So congratulations. That's awesome. So for me, as a general concept for the code, it's easy to say, harder to do. We should come up with the fewest number of regulations and stipulations that are required and that are necessary to regulate the sport and to evaluate the sport. What is required, what is necessary, and maybe almost every sentence in the code you look, is this required, is it necessary? And in many cases you might take some things out. And as part of that, I think our job should be to evaluate what the gymnast has mastered. So if we go, for example, the last example you presented there, possibly needing a C part or you lose some points, blah, 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 blah. Why? If they do a C and they've mastered it, they've already penalized themselves over not being able to do a D. But it's just one more complexity for the judges to have to think about. And in one way, we're forcing difficulty where maybe in some element groups, it's not easy for some gymnasts. So I think we don't need to do that. It's already, in my opinion, too much on for the dismount. And then one big simplification, I think you've heard me say this maybe for the last 25 years, is eliminate connection bonus. There has never been an example of bonus in our history, we can go back a long time when we first started ROV, that hasn't led to unintended consequences. And you know, on the floor connections, we suddenly had all this twisting stuff. And then you had to make a new rule to require a double somersault. So when you look at, and you all know very well how many rules there are just to identify what is a connection on the floor. Similarly on high bar. It's just a huge complication. And on floor, is there any choice? If you want 10 elements, is there any choice but to connect some elements? So why would you have to give bonus points for it? And I agree with Paul, I'd like to see keep 10 elements. I love it.
Just not an answer, just like a friendly talking. I really respect what you have saying. That's why I propose this a little bit differentiate the gymnast. If you have this ABC, it's only 3 times. That's the reason. You have 8 skills with a different stat value from them based on mastery. So because if it is only C, it's 5-0, very clean, not 5-0, with 8 elements, a little bit less, but anyway, like a principle. And if you have D, it's 8 tenths more, but it's not enough in some cases. Maybe to differentiate in that point, in start value. I think that 8 element is a good reason to protect gymnasts, and gymnasts are for that. And you are like understand very like historically and like a promote our sport, looking forward to the future. Yes, it also makes sense. 10 elements. What else?
Yeah.
Yeah, minimized regulations. Yes, it's fine. It's absolutely correct. Connection bonus. Yes, gymnasts with 10 skills have to connect even without connection. We still have a lot of, and I'm not very satisfied with this. We have still turning connection without reason to have connection, just because it's 10 elements. They have to be hurried. We upgrade the time with 75, with 5 seconds to have more peaceful and safety, and still we have this crazy running. Even last competition, qualification, and one gymnast just reduced 1 cycle between Gogoladze and Spindle Gogoladze to have less time to his routine. And this is what happened on the floor. They're in hurry. 70-second, 8 elements, and some special requirement to be nice on floor. Let's see, maybe.
Few subjects that I'd like to mention. First of all, my opinion that if a gymnast is not having a D dismount, then 0.5 anyways. C is a C element, but 0.5. Second, judging P bars, also in Kita Kyushu in here, as a D judge, I see too many front uprights on the P-bars. So we have to limit the number of front uprights. We get to routines with 6, 7, 8 front uprights. And I'm not talking about front upright stutz or front upright Yamidov that got upgraded, and of course it's a better element, but just simple front uprights. We have so many of them. It doesn't look good. I think that if my philosophy about gymnastics at all, I always tell to young gymnasts, you have in one pocket 10 points, and in the other pockets, whatever you can collect. 10 points is a lot. I would like to increase and to give more scores to better execution, to nicer exercises. So my suggestion, if we have a score of 9.5 and above, give them bonus of 3/10. Then you'll make the difference better. And the last subject is concerning supervisor. Why supervisor has to sit so far away from the judges? It will help not blocking system in the future, less problems, less time to lose. I think it's logical and it's fine. It's going to look fine to the world. It's more comfortable for everybody. My opinion.
Thank you so much. Of course, you propose to implement more regulations to P-bars than we have now, to reduce somehow upright forward. Yes, it looks not very perfect. That's why Julio tried to explain how it looks like, should looks like. Now, as you understand, now we lost a big number of all these elements to upper arm. Because it's a lot of deductions presents there, and it's also difficult for body to use, but still, yes, upright forward, a lot of elements. Okay, it's.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it is. For supervisor, yes and no, because we have to have tool, not like only one step to decide to protect correct evaluation. Now it's more steps. It's block between supervisor and D judges. Then it is superior jury, and this is several steps to solve the problem. When they are sitting together, of course it will be only one opinion, and this is only inquiry possible to have the correct score. I'm pretty satisfied with this. It's very difficult to be superior supervisors and sitting alone and have something. Sometimes you forget to just to press one dismount button, and this is different than block of scores. But in this competition, believe me, it was amazing, good, very perfect. And in this regard, I would like to say that Swiss timing are very progressing in this case. So inquiry was not written, not sent to me by paper. It was on my screen, and you just, so far they send official requirement. I have information. I have a red and green button. If I just rejudge exercise and decide no, reject it, it's only red button. That's it. If I think it is some case to reevaluate, so I press green button, then the calculator appears and I input start value, which is correct for this gymnast. So very quick in this regard. And comparing with women, we are champion in inquiries. Why, I don't know. So everybody just, without gymnastics, they want to have some show. It was much more than usual, but maybe because our group of D and supervisors doing very proper job. That's why we think the coaches have a chance to send inquiry, and in many cases they understand, wow, this is the way. No way judges will in the future recognize this skill. I paid my money, 300, but now I know. Yes.
And about the 9.5 and above, the execution, what do you think? What is your opinion? To give a bonus for best execution.
So bonus is yes, but value of E panel anyway is very important. And you, as I see here a lot of judges, and you are familiar with JEP evaluation program, and you should understand that now JEP for vault is much worse than before. If you have 9.2 and control score 9.0, it's already somehow is far away from the perfect, but it's not true. And believe me, 9.5 in many cases is impossible score in our gymnastics. Just impossible, not because many times I presented some routines with 10, with no deductions, and still judges find the way to deduct.
Because of the pressure.
Yeah.
This is the reason.
Tom, Tingle.
So, I stand up. Thank you for an excellent presentation. I have two things on my mind. And one of them is, how do we create the stars? How do we create them? If you look to some of the other sports, they are day after day competing, and in media, week after week. At the moment, all the coaches telling us that we cannot compete 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, 4 weekends in a row. And can we look at how we can create the code so the gymnast is able to compete more? I don't have a solution, but I think that it's really something we need to think about, because this is how we attract media. It's when it gets more personal. This is the star. This is the great. And it's too short for an excited, but something to start thinking. The other issue is 8 or 10 elements. We're all complaining. You show us rings, how compressed. The number of elements you can choose to reach this level, because as higher you go, it's less level. So maybe one solution is to keep the 10 elements, but maybe say that it has a B value or a C value, and you don't get more for, let's say, 2 elements. Then you have a lot of elements to choose from. And maybe you can choose something with a special technique, like Novikov with his back up rise, half turn to handstand. I believe that that could bring something and still keep the 10 elements. Thank you.
One more. Tom, what do you mean? How to keep 10 elements to have a little bit less pressure for gymnasts?
So you have 8 elements like you do today. You have the table of elements. Then you can choose, and maybe for the 2 last elements, maybe only get B value or C value or something like this, because then you can choose. Even if you choose to do a F, you only get the same value as for C.
The cap.
Because then in this case, you're more free to choose. And maybe you can choose something you are able to do with a special technique, a special performance.
Interesting. Ismail,
gymnastic and national team, Turkish Gymnastics Federation. Of course, we are now gymnastics. My son is 13 years old, he will be in national team, but now I am thinking really gymnastics or other sport. Of course, traditional gymnastics is very important, but what about skateboarding federation? They are in Olympics. Please think like this. We have no enough media, social media. We have not enough digital media. Nobody interested about gymnastics. Because of why? Really, it's hard. Of course, we have to keep traditional gymnastics. But what about gymnastics family in world, in media? In FIG, normally we have 10 million gymnasts in all countries. Do you know how many we have followers? 1,000, 100,000. It's really, for gymnastics, too bad. We have to find solution for gymnastics. Okay, I am also a coach. Of course, we have to keep who is the best for gymnastics. But please, 10 years, 15 years later, maybe gymnastics not interest for people. Nobody wants to do interest in gymnastics everywhere. Also, I have 20 clubs in Turkey. Believe me, every 10 family, maybe one of two, they want for a performance. Because of why? It's very hard. They don't want to do gymnastics. It doesn't mean, of course, we have to keep tradition, but please, eight element, maybe for future, small also, in social media, maximum 1 people, 25 minutes focus on media. Imagine our competition 2 hours. How can be people attention for this competition? We have to find solution. If we think like just a coach, we have to stand up and look other sports, other disciplines. They are huge steps up. But where is the gymnastics? All thing is coach. Coach spend time, coach no time. He do all time with his gymnast, no family, no wife, no special life. But where is the gymnastics? We have to keep gymnastics for all features, for all coach, for trainer. Of course, gymnastics important, but we have to keep this gymnastics on social media, on world. People have to know gymnastics more. In my country, do you know Nadia Comaneci? Nobody know? Everybody knows. In our country, go street, someone knows who is Nadia Comaneci or Nelly King. They can tell you, oh, she is a star, 10 point on some apparatus. But now, who knows Ushumira? Do you know Ushumira? Of course, family know, but in my country, nobody knows Ushumira. Where is our stars gymnastics in world? We have to do this. So, please, maybe, thank you for expectation, but we have to change just a bit idea. Traditional gymnastics, hard to think, okay, 100% we have to keep it, but we have to keep it also gymnastics on board. It's very important for all coach feature. Thank you.
Thank you, Smile. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Historically, some sports created new rules to be more attractive in its works. Volleyball with the special requirement. Remember, 30 years ago, you have to win 2 in a row. Now it's 1 by 1, 1 by 1. Once 2 in a row, you're a winner. And the same volleyball, beach volleyball rules. Nice sport now, very popular. And gymnastic, it is, I saw this team women's competition from the stage. Impressions, so beautiful, so nice. They are much better than men in this expression. This Elizabeth Black, after her final routine from beam, it was amazing. Oh, I have still here. So we have to do something to be more attractive. Which way? Maybe now it's a time to have some very critical changes. We, as I propose you, it's like modification. It's nothing general. maybe it's a way to think deeper and totally change. Hardy.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to refer to Elon's comment about the importance of execution, which obviously all of us agree with. I think that a couple of things have happened when this new code paradigm was put in place that brought execution and difficulty too close together. If I can go back to 1998, the executive committee 2 times proposed, and then Bruno directed, that the future code would be the difficulty score plus 2 times the execution, which is really interesting. If you look at a simple example, difficulty 5 plus 9 is 14. You go up to 6 and you lower the execution, 6 plus 8 is 14. Go up to 7, 7 is 14. But if you double the execution, they're 23, 22, 21. So the execution takes precedence. But then when in 2006, 2005, 6, when the technical committee had to implement this new paradigm, none of that was done. Instead, the deductions were essentially doubled. So we did deductions 1, 3, 5, 8 at that time, 1, 3, 5, 1. So what that tended to do, because with the loss of 2, let's bring the 2 back. With the 1, 3, 5, it tended to lower the execution score. And then on the D score side, and I asked that maybe you consider thinking about this, we artificially increase the difficulty by giving 0.5 for each requirement. Why? It's a requirement. If you don't meet a requirement, you have only 9 elements. If you don't meet 2 requirements, you have only 8 elements. You already punish yourself. So you're adding 0.5, 0.5. It's a bit better now because we're down to 4 groups. But before we added 2.5 artificially for difficulty. And execution and difficulty scores come closer together. So I think it's something to think about. We need 0.5 for requirement.
Thank you very much. And a little bit, it's also in touch what I proposed with this difference between D and lower elements. So this is exactly what I think is to have this variation, more variation of the start value.
I'm thinking in terms of you add the sum of the difficulties. If you do 10 Ds, you got 4 points. Period.
Yeah, I understand. No more special awards for
meeting the requirement.
yeah, just
special award for the length, stick length.
Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to say, USA, we've had a discussion on 8 skills, and we would support that. Mostly because of the all-around gymnasts that continue to do day after day. The numbers add up, and the preparation leading up to a major event, those numbers add up. It just continues to get more and more difficult on the bodies of the athletes. We're seeing a lot more overuse, injuries over time, and a lot of early retirements in the sport. I think it would help longevity, but I don't think that it should be up to us. I think that really should come from the athletes themselves. They're the ones doing the gymnastics right now. 10 skills for me was a lot different than 10 skills for these athletes today. So I think it's really important to have their voices heard, and if it would actually help them stay healthy in the sport and do it longer.
thank you. Great remarks. Straight after this roundtable, Aliash will lead the athlete meeting. So I believe it's one of the topic because I am invited there. I ask athlete in this regard.
Apologies if I missed this. How many elements of juniors? 8, or will they do less?
So it is just discussion and just first draft of just my dream. 8 and 8 for juniors as well. Modification for dismount, modification for if we agree with something inside the routine, modification for special requirement value,